Hello everyone, Miragefly here, bringing you another game of Company of Heroes 2, this time on Khlodney Ferma Summer, doing Captain Molo, who will be our US player on the western side of the map, against Luvnest, who will be on the eastern side of the map. And whoa, we have a bit of lag here. Anyways, as for commanders, Luvnest has assault support, Jaeger armor, and mobile defense doctrine, while Captain Molo has already locked into his infantry company, and he seems to be trying to barb off the buildings. And I don't think you can actually barb off the doors, though, once infantry get within a certain radius of the building. Though I've only remembered that from the first Company of Heroes. I haven't tried it in the second game. But for Luvnest, he isn't doing anything too unstandard. 2 Grenadiers coming up, Pioneers moving to capture. Meanwhile, we have 2 rifles up for Captain Molo. We're also beginning to try to cut off towards the northern field. Rear echelon still making wire around that house. It is an incredibly annoying house to deal with if you're the player on the eastern side of the map. I mean, western side.
Area secured. That was too easy.
And more barbed wire going down. Pioneers blocking off part of the green cover.
Get ready to go, man.
Grenadiers will likely be moving on to the munitions. And rifles capping munitions, so nothing really interesting going on at this point. Everyone just capping their side of the map, as to be expected. No large US push at the beginning, and going to a cutoff and just funneling rifles toward the cutoff. So far 3 rifles and 3 Grenadiers will be on the field for each side. Rear echelon will be shot at. Take a bit more damage due to that building of wire. No casualties yet though. Oh, never mind, there we go. Don't worry, he's only 20 manpower, he's not worth a lot. Now Grenadiers moving towards the munitions in the north. They will encounter these rifles. Thankfully they are close to the house, so they will run in there. Another rifle squad coming around the corner, however, so these Grens will probably not stay that long in the building. Grens may need the evac now. Meanwhile, Luvnest is content to capture the southern part of the map. Grenadiers will need to pull out. Oh, he may actually be stuck on the rifles. Yep, his Grenadiers are actually stuck on retreat. Now they phase through. Glitching's always strange in this game. Pioneers won't counter rifles. Need to begin shooting at these rifles. It looks like we did lose one of the Grenadiers up in the north. Pioneers doing what they can, but their pea shooters are not doing much. They'll be forced off, and Luvnest will find his field being decapped. That is not good for him in the early game. Well, he does have quite a bit of field being built up, plus 23 at the moment. Thanks to all these tactical points. Our rifles are moving toward the cutoff. MG42 needs to set up. And the rifles will be reloaded to the point. Looks like another Grenadier squad's gone to the building now and dealing with the rifles. Grenadiers don't have a lot of health left, but they do have the cover. Grenadiers may lose this. It won't take much to kill this Grenadier if he's unlucky. But I think that Grenadier will be able to get out of there. And that one bullet collapses the house. No, MG42 retaking the cutoff. The rear echelon have captured the field in the south. Grenadiers are coming back, going for the VP in the center.
We're losing a capture point.
Luvnest's turn for infantry. However, we have gonna have triple rear echelon on the field for Captain Molo.
Squad ready for action.
We have no tech currently, I think. None of the officers have been purchased yet. I'm not sure why he went triple rear echelon. Grenadiers will fire at the rear echelon, but 2 rifles will also close on the position. These Grenadiers are going to need to be forced back. Should just hit the retreat rather than take the damage.
The capture point is being overrun.
Grenadiers will be forced off. More Grenadiers are capping the munitions, however. Both rifle squads moving to respond. And I don't think no, he hasn't bought tech yet. He's instead investing more in tier 1. Gonna have 2 MG42s on the field and 3 Grenadiers. Forced to pull back that Gren squad before he could finish the cap, or at least decap. Rear echelon should be able to get this cap since he is in green cover. Or I think he is. Rear echelon will be forced to pull back.
Krauts are taking one of our points.
Rifles movement to engage Church. Church. Drone has 1 window facing that rifle squad, and the rifles are in green cover, which is superior to most buildings. In fact, I think it's superior to all buildings.
Keep low! Keep low! The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
And meanwhile, MG42 is capturing. Facing north in case of any attack. Rear echelon may be able to force it off to get around. But squad Grenadiers moving in to protect the flank. Pioneers are being forced off. Rifles are chasing. MG42 is engaging rear echelon in the church. Same situation, only 1 window. And rear echelon are not exactly great combatants. Grenadiers will get in the house, while house only 1 window will provide them with some protection.
Losing a capture point.
With the Grenadiers forced off the rear echelon, will begin decapping the southern VP. We have 2 squads of rear echelon moving. They may be able to force off this Gren squad, especially when they get in close, where they at least have something resembling accuracy. Rear echelon still stalling the house. We have 5 rear echelon squads, so something's definitely up. He's going to give them all LMG since he is rifle company. He's going to have that CP soon. 2 rear echelon squads will force off a Grenadier squad. MG42 setting up. MG42 setting up in the church. Begins firing. However, the squad is in green cover. Except for that 1 guy. 42 decided to target that 1 guy who's going to maybe able to suppress the squad. But it's doing significant damage. Meanwhile, flamethrowers engaging rifles. Rifles are clumping. However, no flame crypts. Pioneers what we need be forced to pull back. 42 is reloading. Could see a rifle grenade over the hedge. It looked like the Grenadiers will just engage. Rifles are forced off. Could be able to make it back to base. Maybe not if the LMG gets another burst off. And they do get the rifle on retreat. So that helps even the infantry, but the rear echelon are getting all their LMGs. Not sure how effective they'll be since none of them have vet. But we'll see. Especially since they don't get that defensive stance like the rifles get. Which, not part of its name, they can actually use in combat at the moment of dispatch. And these Grenadiers are going to be forced off.
Tactical point being captured.
You know, MG42 is capping down himself. Feels being harassed by rear echelon. And Luvnest has tech to his tier 2. Hasn't bought anything from it yet. MG42 is probably going to get decrewed if it doesn't pull out there, but all squads are suppressed, significantly lowering their accuracy and increasing their cooldowns. Captain has hit the field. Rear echelon are coming around the hedge as well. Not sure who will win this, but there are 2 rear echelons with LMGs. Pioneers moving on flamethrower down south. Rear echelon will get the cap power. Look at that rifle grenade go off. Didn't cause too much damage. Well, didn't cause too much damage in terms of models, but we did have significant health damage loss. Pioneer is still chasing. Unfortunately for them, flamethrowers cannot fire on the move. One person combusted in the flames, unfortunately, for the rear echelon. Alright, the rifles and a single LMG rear echelon are moving up.
Our capture point is being overrun.
And the US does have quite a bit of a field lead. Plus 26 versus plus 16.
Someone get us out of here!
To bring out the Major and get his tank soon enough. Rifles trying to charge in. Rear echelon probably in support. Flamethrower going off. Rear echelon are quite clumped. 3 of them combust in the flames. Panzer Grenadiers have hit the field. Not sure how much they'll do against these LMGs unless they attack from around hedges. Luvnest has quite a bit of territory he needs to recap down in the south. Oh, we do have a rifle squad down there. Meanwhile, engagement. Grenadiers will not get the decap in the north, will be forced off by the rifles. Panzer Grenadiers will find themselves under fire from the LMG.
Crowds are taking one of our points.
And I bet these Panzer Grenadiers will be really forced to pull back. Won't even try to go for a decap, they've already taken significant damage. Britain's dueling with the captain and rear echelon. Both squads are in open, but Captain couldn't try and close in and use both the bazookas and the Thompson. When you're firing that close, the bazooka round is eventually bound to hit you.
Crowds are sniffing around our asses.
Rifles being forced off. Oh, we got a rifle squad capturing munitions. MG42 is waiting around the hedge, however. Squad has been suppressed by the MG42 in the church. Gren's trying to do with the rear echelon. Gren should be able to clear this, but they are being slowed down by this rear echelon. None of the rear echelon have hit Vet 2 yet, so no 5th member. Well, never mind, one of them just hit Vet 2. But they're still taking significant damage. 42 will suppress. Stopping decaps on the field in the south. Meanwhile, Flamethrower Pioneers and forced off. Lost 3 members, but rear echelon and rifles are pulling out from the north. This gives Luvnest time to capture. You have a bunch of infantry that'll be coming out of the base, however. And the Major has been researched. There's quite a bit of fuel still stockpiled. We're at 115 and counting. So we'll have a Sherman on the field the moment the Major hits the field. If Captain Molo decides to make one, and he just spent some manpower and reinforcement. Major has now hit the field. We do have Tier 3 in the field, however. No commander lock-in yet. All these rear echelon can build quite a few tank traps or use the rifle to help build green cover, given they're using a lot of LMGs. These Vet 3 Grens are probably going to need to be forced out. They are causing significant damage on the rear echelon, however. Alright, look at one squad has double LMGs, trying to hand them out to everyone.
Is being overrun.
More Grenadiers moving in.
MG42 at the ground. Our supply line just got cut off.
Double engagement in center. MG42 is going to engage a lot of infantry and suppress them all. We lost something for Luvnest. Looks like he lost a Grenadier squad. I think that was that Grenadier squad. Must have either been for lucky bazooka hits. But Panzerschrecks and bazookas always seem to hit when both squads are essentially kissing each other. Or right in each other's faces. We got Panzer IV coming up. No armor coming up for Captain Molo just yet, though he has to feel for anything from his Tier 4. Rear echelon forcing off the Panzer Grenadiers, who I don't think they've done much yet. They only have 1 kill. They're going to try and get into the house. Oh, they're doing significant damage on this rear echelon squad, but they're going to be forced off. Going to be forced to pull back. MG42 suppressing it, rifles in the center. Should probably shift targets, but the gunner does get sniped. Needs to pull that gun out. And we have on me being activated. I often see that ability being used. Does give him a damage buff. Well, I think it's an accuracy buff, but still increases their offensive and defensive capabilities. But Panzer IV has moved in. No AT for our allies currently, except for the captain. Rifle's moving up for an AT grenade, however.
M7B1 self-propelled howitzer on station and ready for action.
We got an M36 Jackson on the way. That's going to provide some needed AT against this Panzer IV.
We're getting chewed up here. Promotions in.
Pioneers being picked up by LMGs. Going to be forced off. Panzer IV engaging rifles. Looks like, I think, is that a light anti-tank mod, or I think that may have been an AT grenade from the rifles. Grenadiers are engaging the rifles at this point. Rifles are forced off.
Is ready for action.
We're almost at 17 minutes in the game. 352 VPs versus 375. Allies currently have the lead. Alright, Luvnest does that. Oh no, looks like the Grenadiers got wiped. There's an MG42 on the ground. Rear echelon are going to pick that up. Grenadiers are doing what they can. Jackson has engaged, but Panzerschrecks will force the tank off. Grenadiers falling back, and we don't have a lot of infantry for Luvnest. Well, there's one MG42, two Grenadiers, and we lost that M36. Did he hit a mine, or were those Panzerschrecks that hit? And I can't see what the kills say for the Panzer Grenadiers, but I'm going to assume they took out the Jackson. I don't, unless there was a lucky teller mine there. Panzer Grenadiers being forced off by LMG rear echelon. Luvnest is not in good. Well, actually, he's in an alright position. He's going to have armor compared to Captain Molo, who only has captain for anti-tank. He's going to significantly halt Luvnest's progress in capturing the map. He only has 5 squads in total versus 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's just say a lot of infantry for Captain Molo. Rear echelon engaging MG42. That's retreating. Rear echelon may get wiped by this Panzer IV if it chases, however. Misses, however, does have the pinto-mounted MG.
Bazookas now available for pickup.
One more. Does not get the wipe, however. Panzer IV will be moving down to the south to secure.
One of our capture points.
Rear echelon, our non-good spot, will be engaged by 2 LMG Grens and the Panzer IV, and we got also an Ostwind hitting the field to fight all this infantry. Rear echelon ducking behind the house. But I think they will get wiped by the Pinto-Mount, and they do drop the LMG.
Just got a report of an infantry unit.
We got a Browning that the Grenadiers could pick up. I think Luvnest is going to capture his cutoff and move that Gren squad to pick up that LMG. You know, Ostwind has hit the field. Only does his light damage, but does force away his squad. Stolen MG42 down in the south. I'm not sure why all his infantry ran. May have been the Ostwind. Ostwind's going to attempt to chase. Maybe able to get this, but the Ostwind's not exactly great on the move. He will encounter a truck, and I think he will get the wipe. Yep, that's another wipe, but Captain Molo will get an LMG. Panzer IV moving in. Gonna stop that LMG from being grabbed. Could attack the ambulance as well. Yep, looks like he's attacking the ambulance to take it down. We got bazookas research. Double bazookas on one of the rifle squads. We'll force away the Panzer IV. Alright, this is going to be a lot of manpower bleed. But the bazookas are doing some work on the vehicles. Panzer IV and Austin going to take significant damage and need to pull back. And Molo's going to need some time to recuperate his losses. He doesn't really have much manpower in the bank, but nor does Luvnest at this point. Luvnest is rebuilding his army, got another MG42 on the field, building another pile squad to help with the repairs. And it looks like maps even out, but Luvnest will be on 3 VP soon enough. We're currently at 335 versus 337. Panzer Trek's moving down to capture the fuel.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
And look like Captain Molo's busy equipping his entire army with bazookas to give him some anti-tank. He has an M36 Jackson on the way to provide additional anti-tank support. I think his army is starting to falter since these rear echelons simply do not have the firepower to deal with Grens. And unless they're fighting them. Well, they do have the firepower, they just don't need to outnumber the Grens. And while the rear echelon don't bleed a lot, the carbines don't really help them in the engagement. They're relying entirely on the LMGs to fight. Well, they're going to force away this Panzer Trek squad. Can't really do much. But Ostwind's back in action. Captain's trying to sprint to the front lines, but it still doesn't have that much health, and there's no ambulance currently on the field to give the US any healing. We have S-Mine 7 north. Not sure if we have any minesweepers for the rear echelon. I don't think we do at this moment. Panzer Treks will fire on the tank and will force to pull back. Trying to consolidate, but should probably pull that tank back. I think he's way too close to the front at this point, but I guess the awesome one will try to keep his infantry off. Got a lot of bazookas and LMGs going around. Austin fires, but is Austin not fully loaded for that round. Only fired on one shot. Fires 5 shots before reloading the mag.
We're losing a capture point.
Jackson is not fully topped off in health, but should be good enough. The horde of infantry is moving into northern munitions. Panzer IV hits someone. Bazookas are wasted on infantry. More bazookas are firing. Austin's going to begin engaging, and 42 has suppressed these squads. Captain using on me. Unfortunately, Jackson's pushing infantry out of the way. And suppression still goes off. Grenadiers moving to cap the tactical point near Molo's base.
The capture point is under attack. Grab fire! Take cover!
And we do have a commander finally locked in. Jaeger armor, I think it's called.
Our supply line is cut. Germans are making
using
a
recon
push.
run. Not sure if he's bought any spotting scopes for his tanks yet. Actually, he has. Buying both tank spotting scopes. Gonna give him. He'll see these attacks before they hit him.
Germans are making a push.
Rear echelon getting chewed up by these double LMG Grens. We do not have any munitions for a Stuka strike. No, ambulance is being rebuilt. We'll be hitting the field soon enough.
We're at 200 points.
I don't think this horde tactics working anymore. MG42s are shutting them down. The rear echelon they get chewed up by actual combat infantry as well as the vehicles themselves. Only 2 rifles. All units are focusing fire and trick, but will get suppressed once again. On me is being used. But everyone's being forced back. Just more bleed of manpower on Molo. Jackson repositioned down into the center. And the US is bleeding points down to 169. Will be triple capped again. US is healing in their base. Luvnest is calling it another Panzer IV. Gonna give him the armor advantage. That he could probably rush to Jackson if he wanted to with these 2 tanks, but he has to be wary of these bazookas. We have 6 bazookas, I think, on the field. 2, 2. And yeah, we have 6 bazooka. Let's draw it on the rifles. Oh. Panzer IV is not in a good position. Takes 4 bazooka hits. We have a bunker down in the south. Prevent capturing of the VP. Jackson's probably going to clear that out. We got a flank in action by the armor. Ostwin takes significant damage and actually gets taken out by a burst of bazooka fire. Panzer IV could attempt to fire in through the hedge at these infantrymen. Radar showing capturing the southern VP. Bunker has been cleared. We have no more grins being made yet for Luvnest. Still staying on 2 grenadiers. Grenadiers will engage the captain squad. Got a lot of bazookas being fired, but they're missing. These bazookas do some work at close range. Grenadiers will make it out from there. Not a recon plane going around. Just to give Luvnest eyes on his enemy. Panzer IV is going to attempt to fire through the hedge. Jackson will fire through the hedge, but miss. Panzer IV hits the hedge. Begins backing off. Jackson misses. Panzerschrecks will fire on this tank. Only one of them hits, however. Panzer IV is going to attempt to break through the lines. That shot went ways off. Bet 2 Panzer IV, but it's taking significant damage. Blitzing out of there. I think it's received significant damage just from bazookas alone. Jackson pitching in. Has that AP round, but doesn't really need it against all these tanks unless he wants to go for that 240 damage. Looks like the Grenadiers will engage all these rear echelon. Grenadiers are losing horribly. Got the rifle grenade gets killed. Panzer IV keeps missing through the hedge, but Luvnest still has the VP advantage. And he's keeping Molo contained down in the south.
M8A1 is on the field.
We got a Scott hitting the field. Going to provide some nice anti-infantry. Mortar team has arrived. Will help bomb all these infantry when they're suppressed or gathering around in the south. Looks like the Major... Has the Major moved down to the south? Looks like the Major is now repositioned down into the south. M8 fires in church. Doesn't do much to the crew, but causing damage on the church itself. Down to quarter health. MG needs to get out of that building before it collapses. Grenadiers. Here's capping the munitions. Vet 2 Panzer IV being forced off by the Jackson. Meanwhile, we got 3 Panzer IVs now for our Axis player. Jackson's doing what it can. Slowly building back. Vet 2 is going to give it significant power. If it gets there, because VPs are getting relatively low, we're down to 62 points for Captain Molo. Mortar is firing. Significant damage on the rear echelon. Rear echelon will get him before they get hit by a rifle grenade. Scott's trying to bleed the Grenadiers. Significant damage as well as taking 1 member out. Grenadiers may get out, need to get out of there or they will be wiped on retreat. Mortar is firing. Causing significant damage on the captain squad. Captain's forced off. Has the Major? Yep, Major has moved down to the south. Everyone's gathering around the ambulance. Panzer IV hit some riflemen. Bazooka's fired, but a lot of them bounce off thanks to the Vet 2 bonus. Scott needs to get out of there, but Panzerschreck's hit. Destroyed engine crit rather than being outright destroyed, however. The crew will bail out. I think they're using repair critical. Yes, they are. Get back in their tank. Jackson needs to be repaired, down to a quarter health, but vehicle crews will get these back in the back in action quickly enough. Rear echelon could help with repairs on Scott as well. Now 42 set down on the munitions in the south. Should be able to push off any squad unless everyone attacks in force and are not stacked on top of each other. Mortar is almost already vet 2 due to all this vetted infantry it's firing at.
All done over here.
Still only 2 grenadiers for Luvnest. Still sitting on 3 Panzer IVs. 2 of them need repairs.
Tactical point being captured.
Pack has hit the field, however. Will force this vet 2 Jacks away. Rifle grenade hits, causes significant damage. Rear echelon almost got wiped out. Mortar firing, causing health damage on the captain squad. Pack fires. May be able to get the Jacks and lands another hit. Jackson gets out of there, however. Panzer IV is now a free reign, however. Mortars and Panzer IVs taking their toll on the US forces. Despite all this infantry, our Captain Molo doesn't actually have that much of upkeep on his forces since, well, rear echelon are cheap. Well, a lot of Luvnest's population are in his tanks. He's at 90 versus 70 in climbing. Panzer IV down himself, forcing off rear echelon. Scott is firing. I think it was firing at the mortar. Mortar has repositioned, however, behind the hedge. Don't think the mortar's going to hit anything this time around. 57mm for additional anti-tank. Though will not always pen the front of a Panzer IV unless it's using its AP rounds. I don't think Luvnest has spotted this retreat point, however. Or it could has mortar just keep bombing it, but Scott is firing, causes significant damage on the mortar team. Mortar team needs to pull back for your health or reinforce. Any shot that hits him will probably wipe them. Grenadiers in the center are forced off. Allies do have 2 VPs, the one in the south and the one in the middle. We have the Pack and Panzer IV sitting down in the south. And Luvnest has a ton of fuel. If you really wanted to, I guess you could try to buy a Panzerwerfer and bomb it out. Maybe you'll get a Stuka dive bomb on this area as well.
A capture point is being overrun.
Alright, let's see what he sees. I think he's occasionally getting his territories locked down, so he knows the major's there at least. Aside from that, you can't really see much. A lot of hedges on this map. Grenadiers are fleeing forth up, but we got a Stuka dive bomb going off somewhere. Alright, it's ways off. Doesn't hit anything. Panzer IV doing what it can. 42 somehow firing through the hedge. Never understood why this hedge doesn't actually act as a shot blocker, only blocks line of sight.
Crowds are taking one of our points.
Scott firing, however, takes out 2 men of the crew. Grenadiers engaging. Grenadiers engaging the rear echelon. Panzer Shrek's trying to force away to Jackson. In fact, 2 Panzer IV could attempt to move in and take out the Jackson.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points.
Luvnest decides against it, however.
Krauts have cut our supply line. Frontline units are being hung out to dry.
Scott doing what it can.
Square away your station.
Has only recently hit but one, only 6 kills.
The capture point is under attack.
Mortar hits. Surprisingly, only light casualties. But that's significant casualties. Vet 3, Panzer 4 now. And Panzer 4s are now just hitting infantry like no tomorrow. This Panzer 4 should be able to deal with the captain's squad. One man needs to retreat. It's going to cause significant bleed on the US forces. Even if they are just rear echelon.
Our opponents are seizing the sector.
This squad's going to be forced off by the Panzer 4. Well, I think we're going to see a rifle grenade. It does pen. Meanwhile, Grenadiers in center getting hammered. Stuka dive bomb going off, however. Doesn't wipe out the major, but does take out the anti-tank gun. LMG dropped on the ground, but the rear echelon cannot pick it up. They do already have dual LMGs. Pack needs to pull out there. Down to 2 men. Panzer 4 is doing significant work. That bonus to fire rate's allowing to kill a lot more troops. 44 kills. And now it's running right into the retreat point. Jackson's trying to charge in. Panzer 4 is going to attempt to run people over, I think. Oh, looks like he's stuck. Jackson wasted shot on the MG42 crew. And lost the ambulance. Is that a misfire? Didn't see any round come out from that Jackson despite the fact it fired. Scott firing. Does not hit. And now all these rear echelon are suppressed. Aren't really able to do much. Mortar's still hammering the position. MG42's reloading, however. AP's being loaded, though. Unfortunately, the gunner's been shot off. Now going to get chained. Yeah, the gunner's going to get chain killed off. Forcing Luvnest to pull back the team. English is not my strongest suit today. Grenadiers should re-pick up that MG42. Scott's now almost vet 2. Mortar's out. Alright, hit vet 3. Done significant work, wounding all these troops. Still MG42, which hasn't really done anything. Gonna be forced off. Ambulance has been knocked out. VPs are ticking. Molo's bleeding infantry. Doesn't have much manpower and reserves to call anything to reinforce all his squads. And he has no more healing. He's got a Sherman on the way though. Maybe I'll do something. Just surprised we never seen the mortar half track ever used, despite the fact it was buffed recently. Can't be that bad still, right? But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it can be that bad. Or the memories from the last batch, pretty much no one makes it. Yeah, it is a fuel investment, so it does delay armor. The echelon trying to get in the center, but they're getting hit by 2 Panzer 4s. Not good for them. Jackson fires. Almost just about to hit vet 3. And vet 3 Jackson is incredibly deadly. Gains increased penetration and shoots even faster. On top of that, vet 2 gives increased sightline accuracy and rate of fire. Sherman's going there all by itself. That's not where it wants to be. Gets immediately wiped out.
We just lost a
Good. Oh, I thought my computer crashed there for a moment, but no, the game ended. And Allies drained out VPs right at the end, just as this Sherman explodes. And it kind of shows that the rear echelon really didn't scale. Although Luvnest did have tools to control the blob of infantry moving into the center, as well as the fact he had multiple tanks throughout the course of the battle. Jackson tried its best, but didn't. I think it has killed. Yeah, it killed that bunker, but it didn't really do anything else aside from drive away tanks. The bazookas tried to drive away the armor, but Captain Molo is constantly bleeding from losing forces, either to mortar fire, tank shells, or rifle grenades. And Luvnest, well, at the end, is flowing a ton of manpower. or a ton of fuel. It was shown that he had control of the battlefield once Captain Molo was locked down into the southern part of the map. But, aside from all that, good game to Luvnest, and this is Mirage Fla, signing off.